Hi everyone, it's your boy EVS, and I don't know, taking a break from drawing. I finally finished that panel. I pressed on and just like plowed right through it. But there's Philadelphia being overtaken by the Vespis. It is probably the most detailed thing in the book so far, but that's just so far. Okay, there's gonna be other stuff in there that's gonna blow your mind. And this is just one of those panels. I tell people that when you're drawing comics, like the stuff that's gonna take the longest is the stuff that people are going to appreciate the least, and they are. This kind of stuff takes forever to draw, and really all you're asking your reader to do is just put this in your brain and then move on. I know you're going to stare at the big action shots, the big horror shots. Those are the things that are really going to catch your eye and catch and stay with you. But you'll find that the stuff that you put the most time and energy into is the stuff that'll always be the least appreciated, but that's part of the gig. And such was the case with this. This is Green Lantern by Geoff Johns, book 1. So Geoff Johns was a buddy of mine. We both started at DC together, and Geoff Johns turned out to be one of the best writers and the most knowledgeable experts on the DC universe, on comic books, but especially DC comic books. And I was fortunate enough to work with him on a book called Flash Iron Heights, which led to a friendship that kind of carried on through the 2000s. And we worked on some really, really big stuff together. The last time we worked together was DCU Rebirth back in 2015, I think. 15 or 16. I think it was 15. And then also Green Lantern's Rebirth, number 1. He wrote 10 pages of that, and he wanted me to draw all 10 pages, so I did. And it was fun. It was always really rewarding, and it's a good time working with Geoff. He's moved on to much bigger things than comics now. He writes comics very, very rarely. He writes movies. But I got him a lot. Looking back, I really think I worked with him on his biggest project. So this is a compilation, and this just came in the mail. We got a big box of copies of this, as DC is kind enough to provide. This is Geoff Johns, Green Lantern by Geoff Johns, Volume 1, trade paperback. Now, Geoff Johns stayed on Green Lantern for, God, was it 8 years? A long time. I mean, let's see, from 2004... 2014, maybe 2013 or 14. He was writing Green Lantern, and I think people will look back on his arc, his run on Green Lantern. It's not even an arc; it's a run. It's a massive run, as the greatest, the singular greatest Green Lantern arc of all time, Green Lantern run of all time. I think that it tops anything that came before it, and I got to start out with him. So this is book 1, and I guess there are probably going to be several books like this. And look, my art's all over it. Glorious on the spine. Look how sexy that spine is right there. More EVS artwork. Now, other artists came in and worked with Geoff on this, but, let's page through it a little bit, and I'll just show you what's in here. I'm going to put a link in the description for Amazon. Those of you who haven't seen my comic book work and might be interested in it, this is the best of it. I think, in my opinion, my heart was with this. I mean, I really, really poured my heart out into Green Lantern, and I think a lot of people who think of my artwork today and my time at DC Comics will kind of associate me with Green Lantern, and vice versa. Fortunately, they think of me and Green Lantern as pretty inseparable. This was the last page I drew of Green Lantern Rebirth, and at this point, I was cooking. I mean, I still look at this and I go, wow, and this was effortless. I mean, I drew it in a day. It's the perfect angle. I'm not sure. Look at this. It's just wonderful. Great layout. So this ends up being the title page. This is the cover to Green Lantern Rebirth number 1 in here, and you can see the other artists. I'm listed first. Which is good. On the back cover, I'm listed second. I think Carlos might have more. No, why would Carlos doesn't have more books in this than me? I think I might have the most pages. Pat Gleason, Darwin Cook, Carlos Pacheco. I'm pretty sure Carlos only did 3 issues of Green Lantern. So that's interesting. But in here, I get listed first. Pat Gleason, Carlos Pacheco, Darwin Cook did a short story with Geoff Johns, and all of the inkers, including me. Prentice Rollins was primarily my inker. I think Marlowe helped out, and Mick Gray helped me out as well. Colorist, there's our Moose Bauman, that lunatic, colored Green Lantern Rebirth, and that's really, I think that was the big successful thing that we did together right here. And Moose was at his best coloring this book. This is where I met Moose. All right, opening segment here where Kyle Rayner, and by the way, this is interesting. I cut and pasted this. The original drawing has Kyle Rayner up here really small, like, projecting this, making this polar bear construct. And I'd already drawn this for somebody else. This was like a commission or something. And I just kind of photocopied it, I think, and I cut and pasted it, and actually physically hand pasted it right here because DC suggested that Kyle, Green Lantern, should be bigger in this panel. It's interesting. This is the kind of stuff that I love to draw. Obviously, you look at what I'm doing right now with the Swarm, the Vespis, Wasp monsters. This is where my heart is. I love drawing monsters, and this was a good opportunity to do that. If you see here, like, look at these snowflakes here. Early presaging the Sinestro core symbol. And my first thought was to add this to, I don't know why, this little piece, I pulled that off, and I just kept this, kind of, as the Sinestro core symbol that stuck around. So these little hidden snowflakes, little hidden Sinestro core symbols in the snowflakes. I had a DC Direct Green Lantern ring, a Kyle Rayner Green Lantern ring that I wore all the time, and it looked just like this, so that I could draw it from any angle. You could see he's wearing it here. I would wear it. I'd take a picture of it just to make sure that, I got it to look exactly like the prop that DC was selling. And I thought that was important. I think I even made a point of that by saying, look, really the stuff that DC Direct is putting out, that's the toy and kind of prop company that is associated with DC Comics. Really, we should be, matching our comics with the stuff that they put out. So if you buy a Kyle Rayner ring prop, it looks exactly like the one that's in the comics. And that just doesn't seem that important to me now, but it was important then. I just thought, yeah, of course, let's work together to co-market stuff. There's early Hal Jordan busting out of the Spectre. Let me zoom back out again. Still getting to know these characters. Hal has his kind of codpiece underpants costume on here. This is finally, I think I'm getting it here with this page. And this page took 2 days. Great parallax shot here. Hal Jordan possessed by parallax. There he is. I always kept toys around. So I had the Toy Biz, was it? Parallax toy, so that I could see his costume from every angle. I mean, that's kind of important. If you can get an action figure of a superhero character, a character that you're drawing, so that you can see their costume from absolutely any angle to draw from, I think that's valuable and helpful. And I did have a lot of DC Direct toys that I could do that with. All right, so here's, look at this, ironically called Blackest Night. This is Green Lantern Rebirth #1. And, I look, Cyberfrog Bloodhoney, I think, opens the same way with a spaceship entering Earth's atmosphere. In this case, this is Kyle Rayner's ship. Bloodhoney, it is Chell Sin, but kind of a tribute to this comic, And I would be on the phone with Geoff every day talking about this, talking about inspiration, ideas that I had or that I would add. Pages like this are exactly what I was talking about. Stuff that takes long to draw but is underappreciated. And I would get in there and just do incredible amounts of detail. These kids walking by this fence, they're not supposed to go in there. The fence is old and overgrown. And as they climb over the fence, I thought I was very, very clever to actually draw my own sound effect in, with the sun being one of the O's in this boom as the spaceship breaks the sound barrier, and of course the silhouette of the spaceship making kind of this into an O, the sun into an O. How did I do this exactly? I think I actually hand drew the letters in and then drew the speed lines, trying not to touch the letters. Just drawing like speed lines connecting back to this spaceship, coming coming in, and this is my style of spaceship. It's different. I want it to look kind of where does that come from? I'm not really sure, but I try not to draw spaceships like Star Wars ships or like Star Trek ships or anything that you've seen before. I want alien technology to look like alien technology. So here it is. It crashes and comes to a halt right in front of these boys. It would have killed them. They get very, very lucky. Of course, we can't have a Green Lantern ship killing these boys. And they go inside, and this is when I knew that things were going to work out with this book. Here is the page. Here's a double-page spread of Kyle Rayner in his Jim Lee designed costume. I love the silhouettes on this hand here. Look at the black hand that allows the green ring to show through. The black of Kyle's costume is mostly all silhouetted out dark and black so that the green of his uniform really shows. He had a strange power battery that was shaped differently from the way Hal's power battery looked. I did have a prop of this, so again, I could easily draw it and just make sure that I got it right. This is a difficult thing to know how to draw. If you have a model of it, it really helps. But this still looks amazing. I mean, even the insanity of going in there and drawing little strokes. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a shadow behind the smoke, and so rather than just leave it for the colorist, I actually went in there and stippled an effect to make this gray and to make this fade out. His foot would be black, that's grayed and blacked out, and the shadow also stipple effect. Coffin behind him here, and this is another just great. Geoff and I were doing dynamite stuff together. Trying to pull his ring off. I'm sure I photographed my own hands doing this, and then it has a name. It passes out. Here's the coffin that contains Hal Jordan's body supposedly, and then just a ring. Everything's a ring of fire. Everything was circles, and that was the pattern that I would try to get across all the time. Like, let's just keep it. Symbology is so important to Green Lantern. It never really was before. But I think when I came on there's something spooky and kind of prescient, and I don't know. Keep the symbols there. Keep them present. They give people goosebumps when you see that this kind of circle pattern and this kind of thing repeats. Why? What does a ring mean? Why are rings and circles so acquainted and associated with the Green Lantern Corps? Why? Well, because this is the shape of the universe with Oa in the middle, and the universe is, everything is a circle, from the rings to the shape of the lanterns to, planets, worlds. It's all, this shape just will always recur, and, it kind of means something. It symbolizes, kind of an unbroken, even though look at this is broken, unbroken brotherhood, a continuity, and of course this has been broken. And then we cut to a nice shot. I hated drawing cars. If I could avoid drawing cars, I would. But, here's Carol Ferris on the phone. And I don't know, she's thinking about either selling or, she's selling her father's old airfield, Ferris Aircraft here, which has been all boarded up. Since Hal Jordan has been dead, things have really changed and moved on without him. I looked at the old Dave Gibbons, issues of Green Lantern to just bring back little pieces of familiar, like this tower here with the F shape on it, was in all of the Dave Gibbons issues of Green Lantern Corps back in the 1980s. And so I wanted to bring that back and sort of give people warm and fuzzies. And then inside we have all these busted old planes that should have been worked on but have been left to fall to disrepair. Beautiful face of Carol Ferris here as she brushes the dust off of the side of this one particular airplane, and in feminine letters it just says H. Jordan, as if it's her own thought. I love you too, Hal Jordan. Boom. See, I didn't want to put this in blocky masculine letters because that would mean something different. This means that it's coming from her. It's coming from her head. They're her own ideas. I won't do this for too much longer. I know me talking about comics probably bores people, but Here's John and Guy above this Yankee Stadium. I had to draw that. This was something that I blew up on a photocopier, and then I lightboxed it and traced it because it was just insane. Geoff, why are you making me draw Yankee Stadium? For goodness sakes, that's a lot of work. So let's make this as quick and easy as possible. And then I found photographs on the internet of the parking lot. I wanted everything to be real. And here's Jon Stewart out of costume, dignified, older fellow, classy fashion sense, and he's hanging out with the biggest idiot, I think, in the DC universe. But anyway, this is just a few pages of the first issue of Green Lantern Rebirth. And, those of you who are here because you watch my Star Wars content or you're anticipating Cyberfrog, I want to recommend this book to you. I think, first of all, Green Lantern Rebirth is a pivotal work. Most of this book, it seems, is my artwork. Let me just look and see where. Yeah, it is. It's the majority of it is. This is, I guess, the last page of Green Lantern Rebirth, and then we move on to some great stuff by Patrick Gleason, who was drawing Green Lantern Corps at the time, and in the back here, I think we get to Carlos Pacheco's first few issues of the regular Green Lantern book, plus a lot of sketches. This was the sketches that I did for the Green Lantern action figure that came out in 2006, and an unused cover, thank goodness, and a lot of good material here in the bonus section in the back. So, let's see. It says it's $25, but I'm going to put the link in the. I'll put the link in the description below. If you want to pre-order this or order a copy of this for yourself, I think that would be terrific. I do get royalties on this, so DC will send me a few dollars for every issue that gets sold. But I really do think that you'll enjoy it, whether you're a Green Lantern fan now or not, because you will soon be after reading this, probably one of the best comic book titles that DC Comics published in the last 20 years. Thanks, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like, and please subscribe if you haven't yet, and leave me comments. I read all the comments. Tell me what you think about this and all of that stuff. And thanks. Bye. Hey, want to follow me on Twitter? Okay, cool. I'm at Ethan Van Sciver. Talk to you there. Show your friends you support independent comics while showing the world who you back in the fight against the swarm with the brand new Cyberfrog t-shirt from Crypto Fashion and Comic Artist Pro Secret. Sizes come in small to 5XL, and take your choice of colors between navy blue, white, and black. And if you haven't yet, go ahead and order the Fandom Menace, Go Get Daddy's Belt, Tico, and Soilo t-shirts as well. Link is below in the description. You're going to look great. People love these shirts. They fit wonderfully. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this video and want to become part of this community, subscribe to this channel by clicking the Laughing Man face logo right on your screen. Ring the bell for notifications as well. You'll never miss a live chat. And stay tuned, another video by Comic Artist Pro Secrets is coming right up.